Yeah. Man, what's up, y'all?
What's
How's it
going
going?
on?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Like to welcome y'all to the second episode of Men Can't Always Be Wrong podcast. I'm T Swin.
I'm
We got
JB.
Other man cop.
yeah, JB Hufferman Cop. Man, what we talking about today?
Well, it's the one of the most talked about issues going on, especially in our culture, and it's all around the country. Is the Shaquilla Robinson death and everything that's going on with that, with her going on vacation with her friends, with six of them over there to Mexico. And while she was there vacationing with her friends come back home alive, except her.
Exactly. Now, man, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on with this, man. From what I seen, uh, a lot of information ain't been put out, and people's stories change and all kind of stuff, and it's been real crazy, man. Uh, a lot of times people tell you when you go overseas to worry about like the dangers overseas of the local country, but you don't expect to go out there and something happen to you because of your friends or so-called friends that you're with.
Exactly. And I think what people need to understand, we gotta lay the foundation of first of all, who is Shaquilla Robertson? She's from North Carolina.
Yeah,
She's 25 years old, and she's just not an ordinary 25-year-old. She's a black woman. She's an entrepreneur.
yeah,
Her mind, her focus, and she's developing herself to become someone that she was born to be in the world, not someone who was born to be ratchet, ghetto fabulous, a criminal, but a young woman inspiring to be somebody better and embraced people with her along the journey. But the ones she embraced killed her.
yeah. It's crazy, man. From what I seen, man, she got good parents, and man, and she was in college. Young entrepreneur in college, so she was doing it. It's sad
Exactly.
that her life ended the way it did. It was supposed to be something that's supposed to be happy, a vacation. You know what I'm saying? You go to vacation and have fun, not to end up dead. You know,
And
yeah,
you
Exactly.
can tell, and you can tell that she was like by the interaction of the whole fight thing. You can tell she was genuinely a sweet person because wouldn't even fight back. You know,
yeah,
and you can tell by the way people behave, how her friends behave. They were more aggressive people than she was.
yeah,
Unfortunately, she got caught up with some people who didn't have her best interests at heart.
yeah,
But like I always tell my friends and everything, you have to be prepared, you know, to defend yourself.
yeah.
Unfortunately, she wasn't prepared. You can just tell that when that happened, she was just really shocked. But unfortunately, we live in a society where we have to be able to defend ourselves at all times.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Man, she in the video that you can see she walking through the Airbnb. She looking for her friends, asking them what they had because it appeared to be in the video. They was getting ready to go to the pool or something. They supposed to be changing their clothes, getting in the swimming trunks or bikinis. It's supposed to be a happy, happy occasion. You know what I'm saying? Your friend that flew you out. She done got the Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? And took y'all out, showing y'all a good time. You know, it's supposed to be a
Yeah,
happy environment, positive energy. They look like they
and
wasn't even happy when she walked in the room.
they were probably envious, because she's actually doing something with her life and able to afford things that the ordinary 25-year-old wouldn't be able to afford. You
Hmm.
know, un- Unfortunately,
Yeah.
once kind of like with the whole amigos thing, you can't once
Yeah,
you get to a certain level. Unfortunately, some people you gonna have to cut off. You know,
yeah,
Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Because once you
yeah,
get to a certain level and they're not trying to progress with you,
yeah,
then unfortunately it's time to move on. Not saying to dismiss them or not talk to them anymore. But I can't be in the hood or hanging out with certain people if you're not trying to
Yeah,
do something with yourself.
yeah, like little baby say, man, everybody can't go. You know, you
Yeah,
go in certain places, you walk through certain doors, everybody can't come with you. Some people mentality won't change. Some people gonna try to adapt and evolve with you because they want to grow. They want to be part of the team. But 9 times out of 10, most people, they're gonna start envying you. They're gonna see you separate and be thinking to themselves, why this ain't happening for me? Why my life ain't changing? Because I ain't doing nothing to make a change. But yeah,
you
man.
gotta.
I know I'm going on vacation. I'm having fun. I'm leaving all the negative stuff behind. You know.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
me, if you can't afford to go, you shouldn't go. I'm not paying for you.
If you can't get it on your own,
You
don't do
can't,
it. Huh?
you can't get there on your own. Well, no, unfortunately, we can't be friends because you're not on the same. You're
Exactly.
not a quality person. You're not on the same level as me.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
man, they said that supposedly her friends was telling her family that she had alcohol poisoning, that she was really really drunk. Supposedly when medical professionals showed up and the police showed up, and but according to what I found, it's like police and the medical people was called around 3 o'clock that afternoon, and after the medical people got there, 15 minutes they got there, they declared she was dead. But later on at 6 o'clock is when the police declared she was dead. And then so all that night they was in contact. This so-called friends was in contact with the family, telling that she was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning when this woman was already dead. And,
Mm-hmm.
and then another thing too was that when the medical professional showed up, that the doctor or whatever said that, hey, we need to get her to the hospital to get proper treatment, and they were like, nah, keep her in the room. That says a lot. That to me,
Right.
they already know some foul stuff had been done. They know if we get out, get bigger, they all in trouble. Yeah,
But my thing is this, the doctor or whatever that person was, you have a where doctors have to take care of their patients. It's an oath they take. If she saw she was in that state, it don't matter what the friends say, because
yeah,
they're not over her. So I don't know what the laws are in Mexico, but some of that's that doctor. Well, it ain't the doctor's fault that she got attacked, but it's the doctor's fault that he didn't say no. She got to go to the hospital.
exactly. He ain't take
And that,
control of the situation, man.
man,
He just
that's key. So you're right. Let's build off that real quick because this is a very important point, a very important part of everything that's going on. So here's the situation. So you got Shaquilla, if I'm saying the name correctly, if not, forgive me. You have Shaquilla and you have six individuals. Okay, now these six individuals, who are they? You got, from my understanding, it was three females and three men. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah. To
All right.
my
So
understanding,
she
there's
got,
2 people.
okay. All right. So now, out of these three females and these three men, along the way before this altercation came, there's a video showing where Shaquilla was in a hammock,
Yeah,
whichever one, right? She was laying down, and the friend was saying, what was her words? I want to make sure I get that
We got a dead
correct.
body. Yeah, if I
There you go.
remember
We
it
got
right.
a dead body. We got a dead body. We got a dead body. So in other words, this was already from based on what she said, or whoever that was that made those comments. It was premeditated. So something was already planned. While
yeah,
she was sleeping, these words was already being expressed right on camera. So in
yeah,
other words, now let's follow the trail here. So now we got someone who already spoke the words from what was already in the heart, but what
yeah,
was when the heart was cometh out of the mouth. So what came from the heart came out of the mouth, and what came from the heart came out of the mouth came out with action.
yeah,
Eventually, and she didn't hear this, nor neither did she pay attention. We don't know how deep she was in the sleep. So something also suggested, as you already said, T, that while one of them was going, she was going through the room, and her friends was already together in the wrong room. You can feel the vibe of that video.
Yeah.
You can sense that there was something was gonna if something wasn't right. Anybody can look at it.
Yeah.
The vibe, the energy between her and her friends, there was a disconnect
Yeah.
in that room. So something was being planned, but she didn't know. And then what happened along the way, when you start connecting everything together, now they got it to a point where she was drinking. You would think being with your friends, you could be comfortable around your friends, but that's
Yeah.
not always the case. So, in other words, too, when the fight finally came between her and the other individuals, you got three men in that room that could have stopped it. Not only the three men, but you got two other women in the room that could have stopped the altercation also. But why didn't they do it? Because they all knew what the result was going to be and they planned it to be that way. So they
Yeah.
watched it, they recorded it, they planned it, and they did nothing about it. Then, on top of that, when you have somebody who's a professional in the place diagnosed and saw the condition of
Yeah.
Shaquilla. Who's the professional? We don't know who she is or he is, but we do know that that was supposed to be a professional that should have made the decision over the ones who are not professionals to make sure that Shaquilla life could have been spared and alive today, but that wasn't the case. So the professional who should have made that decision didn't make that decision. And
Yeah.
now goes to the question, it goes even deeper. Did the hotel or the resort know what was going on in that room? And why didn't they come in that room or the hotel staff, whoever was in the management? So it goes now from the professional doctor, it goes to the resort and the hotel staff and the
Yeah.
management there. And now it goes back to the police.
Yeah.
In the autopsy, there's a conflict between the autopsy and the conflict between the reports of the police and the timing of the two. So there's a big
Exactly.
mess. It's a lot of confusion. So, but the main thing here is that we, as men and women, are supposed to be fruitful and multiply, right?
Yeah.
I'm always going to tie in God because God is the divine, and you tie the divine of God with the power of justice and the power of decision making of choices that God has given us.
Yeah.
While we develop ourselves as men and women, Shaquilla was developing herself to be fruitful and multiply, but you cannot be fruitful and multiply when you are connected with the wrong roots. And when you are connected with the wrong roots while you trying to be fruitful, multiply, you will suffocate by the ones who are not being fruitful and die as a result of not being fruitful because the ones you connected to are not fruitful. You will die one way or another, either mentally, spiritually, physically. And we are witnessing now that Shaquilla, her fruitfulness was choked up, taken from her, and she died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could just see the
like I
you could see the you could see the hate. You know what I'm saying? Like when she walked into the room before all this stuff happened, they were looking disgusted that she showed up. You know,
yeah
it
her
was already negativity and hostile energy in the atmosphere. Go
yeah
ahead, Joe.
it comes down to situational awareness. She wasn't aware of
Hmm.
anything, you know. Like I said earlier, man, it's like the society we live in. Like you said, it was plotted because they all had their cameras out. They probably didn't expect it for her to die. I don't think that was her intent, but they were expecting to beat her up in a public display to embarrass her, to bring her down to their level, because she was rising above them. You know, and that
Yeah.
goes back to the jealousy and envy. So we in a culture now that all these people are, these kids, these younger people, they are clout chasers, as they say. They're gonna
Yeah.
do anything to make themselves look higher or better or more
Do anything
superior.
for clicks and views, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more
Instead,
superior in that
Well,
little time
yeah.
frame.
These
But
are two. These are four powerful elements that that comes to mind also when we think about her life and who she was and who she was inspiring to become even more.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to four elements. It comes back from awareness, it comes to understanding, it comes to disassociation, and it comes to reconditioning. Awareness of the is always the first element. It's awareness of something that you know, when you should know things, and when you should exit yourself from conditions that you are aware of that will cause you problems in your future. The awareness of Shaquilla, she ignored the issues of her friends. It's pretty evident that her friends had issues. Everybody has issues in life. But when you're
Yeah.
on another level, you cannot afford where you are going in life to pull anybody who's not on that level up to your level, because they cannot see or understand that level, because their mindset and their life is still in a bottom hood ghetto state,
Yeah.
and that state will always rise up. And we saw it in the video with that lady who was in the altercation. This was not no ordinary fight. If you look at it, her intentions was not to just fight this girl. Her intentions, you can see it on video. Her intentions was to seriously bring harm to Shaquilla.
Yeah.
That was enough. And it was, you can see, we growing up, man, when we fought our friends, it was okay. We get in an altercation, something happened, we just fight, we'll box or whatever. That's when I
Yeah.
grew up. And then all was well.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything intentional to seriously harm our friend.
Mm.
We just
No
made
murderous
sure that
intent.
yeah, we wanted to make sure that, hey, if the fight was on, the fight was on, but it wasn't to the fight of death. And this lady was, whoever she was, she made sure that she was fighting, kicking, swinging, and throwing. I mean, this was a whole nother level of an attack that wasn't the norm. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
pretty
kicked
obvious.
she kicked her in the head, man.
Yeah.
It's man, it hurt my heart to watch that video. But she hit her, and the girl wasn't even fighting back, and she kicked her in the
Exactly.
head. And
Yeah.
she was unclothed because she was changing. Like I said, they were getting ready to go, to the pool, the beach, whatever. And how painful they got to be for the parents to get a hold of the video. Video be all over social media, and to see their child in that kind of way. No parent want to see that, you know.
Yeah. It goes back. Unfortunately, it goes back to this new culture that we're in. It started off with world star hip hop. They used to have fight comps where they just publicize. They think it's
Yeah,
the norm. No, that's not the norm, man. It shouldn't be, at least. But unfortunately, with all this internet access and all this other stuff that we have now, to share this across the world instantly to get a click.
exactly,
Um,
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
exactly.
she suffered from, what I'm gonna say. We kind of started it, because we're the older generation. Most of these kids are old enough to be our kids. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, we lay down a foundation, but giving them too much. Well, America in general, we don't hold ourselves to any kind of standard now. Our morals are really, really low as a country right now. You know, we need to get our families back together. Uh, that's some of it too. So we don't know. No, you tell that maybe Miss Robinson's family, the mother and father, the president, and that's why she came up to be a good person. We don't know the
yeah,
background of these other children. I'm calling them children because they just really starting life. 25. That's you still
yeah. I mean,
not a
like
baby, but you still go ahead.
I was like, man, I'm listening to the way the people talk in the video. I'm listening to the way they dress. You see the one dude, he's sagging. He's sagging and he walking through the room. He's sagging with the
Right.
drawers at. You know what I'm saying? And then supposedly there's a person, yelling, "You ain't gonna fight back. You ain't gonna fight back." That's one of the guys in the room. Now this dude also
Mhm.
supposed to be her best friend or one of her best friends. According to what I researched, this dude was a close friend to the family. He been on family trips with her, her and her parents. He was in heavy contact with him after the situation until the video came out. Until the dad started checking and got the autopsy and found out, that she died. They pronounced dead 15 minutes after medical professionals got there. That she died from a broken back and a dislocated neck. You know,
Is
and
that
then
is,
also too,
is
man.
that
The other thing I was doing more research. supposedly the doctor, like in Pulp Fiction, the doctor gave her like adrenaline shots to try to bring her back.
Um,
From what I from what I found, they gave her like 5 of those shots. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
the doc, whatever doctor they had or wherever that medical professional was, they need to be sued also because I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm not a doctor, but you giving her adrenaline shots? Come on, man. And you didn't take her to the hospital? I don't know the laws of Mexico.
yeah,
Unfortunately, when we travel abroad, their standard of law is not the same as ours. They don't hold those people to the same accountability as we do here.
yeah,
So, but I think the
So
family
yeah,
should,
but
everybody should be sued. The resort, the doctor, you know, and the other people should be prosecuted.
yeah.
okay. Let me. I'm gonna go back to what T said first, real quick, and then I'm gonna jump back to what you just said, Joe. Now, what T said, it was very important because he mentioned about the one of the guys was close to her and the family. So now she's 25. Of course, she's a young adult, and I'm sure the mom and the dad wanted her to uh, to be able to live her life the best way she could. But now the problem was with this boy that was close to her, this young man that was close to her and the family. Now, regardless of the fact, and it's just not the blame, but this just goes as a lesson that as a man of your child and as a mother of your child, you always, no matter what, even though you want the best for your children, you always want to be in a position where if you notice something ain't right from anyone that's connected to your child, to make sure that whoever he or she is the right person to be around your child and your family, because
Mm-hmm.
that will have devastating results one way or another. If it don't affect you as the mother or father, it can affect your child whom you brought in the world, that it's your responsibility, no matter what, how old they are. And I understand that we all want our
Yeah,
children at a certain point to be able to live their life the best way they can. But I bet you can best assure that the mother and father pretty much are not surprised by the actions of that man and what he did. I guarantee you. But they embraced them and love, and that's another thing. Our culture, we're so embracing as black people. We want to accept and embrace everybody into our homes, into our families. Now, what Joe said is dealing with this doctor again. In the professional realm, when a person has a title and they don't live up to do what is expected of their title, regardless of where they at in any part of the world. If I go to Africa or I go to the Caribbean island, if someone in that Caribbean island is a police officer and I go to them for help, I expect for that person, regardless of who they are, to help me as a police officer. And if that police officer doesn't help me, then that's a whole nother issue. But I trust and expect because of the title. Now, who am I? In my profession, I deal with justice, law, investigations, helping, and serving people. And the hardest thing for me to get people to understand is to be proactive against issues so you won't have to look and search for help of others when help could have been provided with you proactively to prevent things from happening. And that has been my expertise and my life goal and mission always, even when I was policing, proactively going against things so that things would not end up as it is and what we're seeing here, even in Houston, when it comes to violence, domestic violence,
mm-hmm.
assaults, as we have just seen between her and him, and professionals who should do things that is right. Unfortunately, everybody don't have the heart or nor care about other people in the profession only about the money and what they can get. And so we have to know that when we connect ourselves and we be proactive, we have to be connected with people who know, who care, who love, and who will assist us in every and any situation. There's so many problems in this story.
Now another thing
Yeah,
too, man. Another thing too, we have to recognize is also we black. There's a large amount of people in the world that don't care for us, don't care for our color, don't care for what happens to us.
Yeah.
The mainstream news media is not covering this. They're not covering it as if it was a white woman, it'd be covered heavily. Everybody be trying, they be up in arms trying to find out a way to get the people, get down there and find out what's happening. It's like it's going under the radar. You know what I'm saying? Us on
Well,
our black platforms are having to put the information out and keep the story going to bring attention to
yeah,
it. Another thing also
yeah,
too about the traveling. I've been all over the world in the military. I've been all over South America. I've been to Mexico. You know, sometimes I've been in situations in Mexico where it could have got violent. And I was like, I knew that if something happened to me, I wasn't gonna be taken care of while I was down there. You know what I'm saying? If I went down to jail, I probably gonna be left in jail. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. Or something happened to my body and I was killed. I'm just gonna be a dead body in that country. You know what I'm saying? So we have to watch ourselves too when we go into these countries. A lot of these people don't care about us. So you have to watch yourself. Um,
absolutely.
and that's just the truth, man. And I've had guns pulled out on me in Peru, Mexico, and I thought that was it. I
Wow.
said, man, if I die here, my parents ain't gonna know nothing about it. I'm just gonna be a body laid on the side of the road. So we have to watch ourselves, when we go into these countries also, and how they handle us. You know what I'm saying? Go where you respect it. You know.
yeah.
Mm.
Just like I said, um, since they're not taking care of us as a people, as a culture, man, we should just not even go there. You know, we invest our money in places and do things in places that people want our dollar, but they don't respect us
Right.
as a person. So
Yeah.
if you're not gonna respect me, we shouldn't do business with them no more. You know, there's all kind of beautiful places around the world. We ain't gotta go to Mexico. There's beautiful places in
Yeah.
Africa. You know,
Exactly.
I know, I know. I don't know how much it costs to go there, but we can figure out a way where we can go places where we're loved, and appreciated. We don't have to go to Mexico. If you're not gonna respect
Now,
me and take care of me, you're not gonna respect me or take care of me. If I'm injured or come to my aid when I need help, I don't need to spend my money there.
now another thing too, man, y'all touched on it earlier. Is like a lot of times in our community, when we see people fighting, they egg it on. People, they get hyped up. Man, let them fight. Don't let them fight. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to de-escalate the situation. Especially when people see two chicks fighting or two females fighting. Oh man, let them go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And there was, like you said, there was three men in that room. Nobody tried to intervene. When it got to that, because you could tell it was murderous intent with these blows that was been given to this young lady, and nobody jumped in. These so-called friends, they egging it on, like they was laughing. You know what I'm saying? And we have to, man, we have to dead that in our community. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And stop promoting all this ignorance. You know what I'm saying? All this ratchetness, all this ghettoness. You know what I'm saying? We are an amazing people, but won't nobody know
Right.
that if we keep displaying the wrong things. So
Yeah. Yes. What is a man? A man is not a man that pags his pants. A man is not a man that watches a woman attack and beat upon another woman when that woman does not want to fight, and he
exactly.
watches that woman get beat up. A man is a man who defends and protects a woman. A man is a man who can see danger before it happens and stops it between a woman or a man and a man. A man is a man who brings peace and always justice. A man is a man that will never allow his own friend to fight another friend when they are all supposed to be friends. A man is a man who will step in and preserve the rights and the feelings of a woman when she is left unprotected. A man is a man who will not hold a phone and record it and laugh at the assault of a woman. A man is a man when he sees a woman being attacked, will throw down that phone to protect that woman or another man. A man is a man regardless of where they are, regardless of the conditions that they're in. A man will be a man till he dies, and a man will never live or carry himself as an ignorant man.
Exactly. Now, man, like I say, it hurt my heart to watch this video because I got 4 daughters myself. You know what I'm saying? And I would hate to, just like in takeout murder. Nobody wants to see something evil or something happen to their child and then learn about it from social media. Nobody wants to see that. These people had the audacity to, you know, contact the family like ain't nothing was going on. They even came. They lied to the family, and then they even came and brought some of her belongings back to the family. But they all stopped. All the contact stopped when the video got leaked. You know, so you can tell they always on the same story. They said, let's stick to this story. It's the story we're gonna use. Man, right now Mexico is in the process of trying to extradite the woman that's in the video. The woman in the
Right.
pink bonnet. The woman in the pink bonnet. You know, they trying to get her. And one thing I know about overseas jail and prisons, it ain't as nice as America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I lived in Japan, uh, I had a dude I worked with, man. He did some violent stuff out in town in Japan. The laws came and got him. They put him in there. He was in prison. And no shirt, no shoes, just a pair of pants. No bed, no nothing, just concrete, rats. And they gave him one bowl of rice every day, rice and water. That's all he had. So compared to here, you know, this legal system ain't the same. But if they do get them, and I hope they all come to justice. And if they wind up in Mexican prison, hey, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But I hope they brought to justice, and they deserve to be brought to
Absolutely.
justice. And
Every
and
last one of them.
exactly. And I hope they get the worst of it. You know what I'm saying? Because what they did to that
Absolutely.
young lady
Every
was
last
wrong.
one of
What they did to her was wrong, and I hope they get the worst of it. I hope they do go to Mexican prison. You know what I'm saying? But from what I found too is like because the crime happened in Mexico, the United States ain't got no jurisdiction. So, but I hope Mexico do extradite all these people involved in this.
Yeah, from my
them. No
understanding,
one.
and I could be wrong, is that they can prosecute them in the states. I think the FBI is involved right now with an
Yeah, the FBI
investigation.
is involved. Yeah, the FBI is involved, but there's a long
It's a drawn out process.
legal, yeah, long legal ramifications and processes that Mexico has to send with the U.S. Attorney of North Carolina and
Hmm.
all the extra, all the things that involve with the processes of bringing them from the U.S. Once they get all the evidence and information from Mexico, the U.S. District Attorney of North Carolina has to look at all that to get the right paperwork involved, and that's a long process in order to get that just that one individual. And now you're talking about six individuals. That's a whole nother story. But looks like
Hmm.
Mexico is only focusing on that one individual. But then I saw something where I don't know if y'all seen it. I don't know how true it is. It looks like all six of them may be on the run from the FBI because the FBI is involved.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit not quite sure on is all six of them on the run? Can any one of them be found? That's where I'm not quite clear what's going on with that because it seems like all six of these individuals have just like vanished. No one can find them or locate them.
Yeah. And I'm gonna
Have
just
y'all
put this
heard
out
anything?
there. If anybody's watching, if you helping hide these people, you gonna get brought down with them. Turn these people over to the law, so justice can be served, man. We need to quit hiding people that do evil crimes and keeping things up under the radar and bring these people to justice so we can weed out all the bad seeds in our community.
Absolutely. One thing is for sure, and I don't apologize, but I'm very passionate when it comes to. I can normally talk, and y'all know how I can talk, but boy, when it comes to stuff like this, so if I'm a little bit excited, get over it. That's I don't apologize for that. But one thing is for sure is that we didn't see men at that place with altercation happened, the assault that led to the death, and we didn't see three women at that location. We didn't see friends at that location. What did we see? We saw people who had the heart and the mind to commit a crime against the innocent victim who was better than them, who was going places better than them, and they looked at her and they targeted her and they set her up. And I can almost guarantee you, she saw some signs, but she didn't care because she saw them as friends and she valued them. And sometimes growing up, even when I grew up, I didn't grow up with the best environment. And I remember, man, when I started to make changes in my own personal life, I left the projects in the projects. I left that ghetto mindset. You would never know where I come from because
Hmm.
I completely changed my mind, my life, my attitude, my behavior, the way I talk from upstate New York in the heat of the projects, the Van Alka projects. Everybody knows about Van Alka projects in Rochester. That's where I come from. And so, but this is the thing, something had to help me because I didn't have a father in my life. So, what helped me was the ultimate father, and that's God, the Almighty God, helped change me and made me who I am. And when I began to develop and understand who I was, I had no choice but to separate. But even in my separation, I still loved, even to this day, the ones I grew up with, and most of them, thank God, they're doing well. Some have died from violence, from gun violence, from drugs, and all that kind of stuff. But that's a whole nother story. But what I'm saying is, at one point, we can once we get to another level of life, we cannot go back and bring those with us who have no intentions of coming out of the mind and conditions where they come from. We've
Yeah.
all been damaged from things in our past. We've all have experienced some things in our past. And because of our past, it uproots in us in some form of another. And those six individuals have uprooted something that has devastated and harmed them in their past that made them who they are. Now, let me say this also. From what I've seen, those ladies, they were not ugly. They were nice to look at.
They
Okay.
were decent as a lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's not these ladies, and they were young ladies. But on the inside, and what's on the inside overruled and over over masculated, I say, the outside of who they were. And so it was toxic, masculine, aggressive behavior from the women, and the the and the part that really tripped me out when you look at it, the men who should have presented that, they presented the feminine actions of a woman. So you have confusion
Yeah.
within them that exposed itself externally. So
Yeah.
you have to deal with what's on the inside in order to change what's on the inside to change what's on the outside. And if we don't deal with the traumas and the problems of our past and our upbringings, this will always happen as it always has, and it's continuing to happen even as I speak. We can Google something right now in our community or just in life in general. Right now, a mother just killed their daughter or son, or the son or the daughter just killed the mother or the father or the boyfriend or the girlfriend. It's an ongoing cycle because we have been put in the condition in a state spiritually, mentally, physically, where we are consumed with so much of our past, it is overwhelming the majority of our people. And what we are seeing is only the beginning because, unfortunately, according to the Holy Scriptures that I always will resort to, God says when we separate and do not know who we are, we become self destructive, not only towards ourselves, but those who are connected to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also like to add, this is a tragic situation. Yes, she was assaulted, but this is my outlook on life. You have to be prepared. You know, she wasn't prepared. Like I train jujitsu. That's what I do to keep myself in shape. But I also train it to be. I'm capable of defending myself. You know, they knew this girl was not capable of defending herself. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
take some responsibility of yourself to be able to defend yourself because of the society we live in. You know, she first of all she wasn't aware of what was going on. And like I said, this
Mm-hmm.
is not her fault. This is not her fault. I'm not blaming her at all. But you have to be aware of what's going on, be aware of who you're around, be aware of what they're capable of. But you also have to be capable of defending yourself. You know,
Yeah.
they attacked this girl because they knew her, they knew that she would not fight back, and it's going to be a spectacle. If they knew that she was going to fight back. This probably, I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened. They probably would have jumped her anyway. But you know, they would have been in the back of their mind. Oh, this girl's not to be played with. You know, so you do
Yeah.
have to
You
take
got
some
to know.
responsibility for yourself to be able to defend yourself. And like I said, I'm not blaming her for the situation because she was attacked, she was assaulted. But you also have to be able to defend yourself and protect yourself also.
Yeah. You got to be aware of who rock with you and who don't rock with you, man. Like if you talking to people and you making accomplishments and they want to change the subject all the time, or they look like they get upset because you making advancements in your life. Watch you cheer for you and who hate. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? No, it don't matter how tight you is, kinfolk, blood, best friend, but if you excelling and they stand in the same spot and you excelling and they look like they upset every time something good happens for you or you do something good or you make another accomplishment in your life, get them people out your circle. Get them out your circle.
Yeah,
Don't keep them
yeah,
around because
because
all they're gonna do is drag you down. It's gonna some event is gonna happen to where you're gonna be tied into it, and like I said, you're gonna be guilty by association, or something worse is gonna happen to you hanging around them people. Just cut them
yeah, you're
off.
only
Cut
going.
ties. It may be painful. It may be painful to cut ties, whether it be family, a loved one you're in a relationship with, a close friend. You got to cut ties. You got to recognize your environment. Be aware of your surroundings. And if you on an upward trajectory, man, get them people out the way.
Yeah, you're gonna have to keep your circle small, man. Unfortunately,
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know this young lady background or whatnot, but
Yeah,
maybe her circle was too big, or she hadn't weed out. No, she's still young. She probably haven't got to the point where she started to weed people out anyway. Because unfortunately she
yeah,
was this 25. But
yeah,
my circle is very small. There's only a handful of people who have proven themselves over the years that
yeah.
I know. If something
yeah.
goes wrong, I can.
Wow.
Hey, I need $1,000. Oh, no question, I got you. You know, it's only a couple
Yeah.
of people I
Yeah.
know that I can call at any time if I need anything, no
They
matter
got your back.
what. They got your back. And unfortunately, she hadn't lived long enough to have start doing that process to knowing who was for her and who was against her. And unfortunately, she has she had a kind heart. If this was, I don't know the whole situation. They said that she's the one that flew them out and actually had the
Got the
resort and everything.
Airbnb. Yeah,
Had and you instead of them being appreciative of it, they were jealous and envious, and unfortunately, this tragic event happened.
now, also
But
too, man, I heard that the close friend, the guy that was talking about you gonna fight back.
yeah,
Um, I heard that he visited the folks once they got back, and when they started
yeah,
asking him questions about what happened with their daughter, what's going on, and say he was sweating when they were asking him questions. You know.
yeah,
Mhm.
Now, also, man, to help out with the funeral service and stuff that happened. Kyrie Irving donated $65,000. Kimber Walker donated $20,000. A lot of professional athletes and famous people donating money by GoFundMe. A GoFundMe page was set up. But was so bad in our community also. People will set up fake GoFundMe pages to try to capitalize off of other people's tragedy. You know what I'm saying? That right there got to stop, man. Don't try to capitalize on somebody else's pain. Let that family let the family grieve and do what they got to do and get the help they need. Don't be trying to steal resources from them. You know what I'm saying? That's real foul. And
Yeah,
man, that mentality got to change, man.
it's got to change. And the only way that it's going to change, if we can't change it, and that's a powerful point because it has to change. But let me also take it to this point: if they don't change, it doesn't matter if they don't change, as long as we change and we make
Yeah,
the change needed, so that the change can be effective. That's the kind of change that is needed. It's going to take us as people to make sure we take the actions for the change to be the necessary change that is needed for the change to take place. And that change is not going to be with all of us. The change is going to be with those who want to accept the change, and those who want that change can have the impact against those who don't want to change. It's almost like the crabs in the barrel. You leave those in the barrel. And those who have come out of the barrel, we are the ones that can control the crabs that is in the barrel. In fact, kick that barrel over and bury that barrel because it is not the crabs in the barrel, it's the whole barrel in the crabs that needs to be removed. And so it's up to us to make sure that we take every action necessary in our communities together, and it always goes back to proactive actions in
yeah,
who we are, what we allow in our lives, and who we are connected to, because it'll always impact us. I'll never forget, man, I had a good friend that I grew up with when I was in high school and stuff like that. And of course, I went off to college and stuff, and then obviously, I've done some other things in life. And he called me. He wanted me to go to his wedding. I haven't spoke about it, and I'm not gonna say who he is, but and a real close friend of mine, close to his family too. And I actually took the time to fly to go to participate and to celebrate his wedding because he's never been married either. We both never been married. He's a great guy. He's done a lot. So, but what I noticed when I got there, it was a different feeling. I wasn't really embraced from him nor from his family like I used to. And one who was in the family, she became very successful in politics. So she was on a whole another level, and she didn't want to be nowhere near me or involved of what I had. And I grew up with her. We've
yeah.
all come from nothing. So and then I wasn't even accepted or invited to participate in some events before the wedding day. So and here I am in his whole city coming to his wedding, and I wasn't even involved in a lot of activities that led up before the wedding day. And I
Mm-hmm.
had experienced this. I'm like, whoa. And it hurt me bad. I never talked about it because I didn't want to make a big deal of it because it was a day, and it shocked me. And I said, well, here we are. We was friends all through our high school and all this, and we had lost a little communication, but we was always every now and then I thought we were still close.
Mm-hmm.
Only to find out that I don't know why. I guess I mean ain't nothing to be jealous of because I'm still climbing to become even more to what I am. But the fact that you can feel that jealousy and that resentment was present. And what I did was I didn't make no issue of it. It hurted me, but what I did was I made sure I cut my ties with him because of that fact. I didn't reach
Mm-hmm.
out, I didn't beg, I didn't go running after him after knowing that because I knew what time it was. So once we see issues or where we thought where we were with certain individuals in that past growing with certain individuals, when we know that that season is over, let that season be. Kill it, or that problem will become even greater in our lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to realize, life is a journey, and the people that start with you are not gonna, be there at the end. So
Yeah,
it's just important. 25, 19-year-old me to 20-year-old me to 30-year-old me to now I'm 40. Every I'm a different person every stage of that life. And as
yeah,
you grow and as you change, people are gonna either grow with you and change with you, or they're gonna be on the same stuff, and you just unfortunately you just have to let them go.
yeah,
Uh, Not saying that be mean or vicious. We just on a different wave, as the young kids say. We just on a different vibe now.
yeah,
Uh, not saying that person is a bad person or
Right.
whatnot. It's just that we're on a different. Everybody's on their own path of life, and unfortunately, like the multiverse in Marvel, sometimes that is going to split, and we just have to go our ways.
exactly.
You know, so it's not nothing against that person. It's not, and that person shouldn't have nothing against you. I have a friend, a longtime friend. We're not close anymore, but he's on his
Yeah,
path journey. He's doing well, and I'm happy for him. And I'm doing my thing, and he should be happy. Hopefully, he's happy for me. I don't know. But
yeah,
it's not going to be that way. You're going to have to let people go. It's just you're
yeah,
a changing, adapting person, and everybody's not going to be on the same path as you. So if they
yeah,
deviate from your path, wish them the best and go on your path. You know,
yeah.
because life,
We
like I
might have
said,
the
life
same
is a
beginning,
journey.
but we gonna have different endings.
Everybody's going to have
That's
different
right.
ending. You know.
Now I got a question for you, Steve. Being a former police officer, I did military police, but as a former police officer, um, how many calls or how many scenes did you show up to where there was something similar where a person was attacked by a close loved one or a friend or even murdered? How often does stuff like this happen?
It happens. I can't even put a number on it. Thousands.
Yeah. Me
It's
for me.
always going to be that. Yeah, that's always going to be prevalent in community. And matter of fact, and it doesn't have to do with a race issue. That's in all cultures.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a major problem. Yeah,
For me being in the bail bond industry, man, that's like almost our number one money maker.
certainly.
Is
Absolutely.
people assaulting
That
their
that's
own
that's
family.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I want to say this to y'all, man. Before I say anything else, I think this is like almost gangster. This is how you really work where you need to you use. See, Shaquilla couldn't use her friends for her benefit because they were beneath her. This is be honest.
yeah,
Just to be honest, there was nowhere on her level, so she was going down to them. Now here's the thing: when you know your enemy, I'm pretty sure she knows some signs. You use your enemies who say they're connected to you for your benefit, but if you can't use them for your benefit, you can disconnect them. And who's the greatest example that we can learn from? We can learn this from Jesus the Christ with Judas.
hmm,
Jesus knew Judas was going to set him up to be killed, but he knew he had to use Judas for that purpose. So he allowed Judas in his circle for his benefit for the ultimate goal for the kingdom purpose. It was gangster. So Jesus knew how to operate. He knew Judas' intentions from the beginning. He knew how to use Judas while he was in his presence, in his circle. And because he knew that, he also knew when to reject Judas. And the end result is Judas, though we think it was a bad thing that he did what he did and killed and participated in the death of Jesus the Christ, the Messiah, the ultimate goal was that he used that purpose so that Jesus could save all of us by being the living sacrifice. And the ultimate and the end conclusion was he got the keys to the gates of hell, and he has all power in his hand, and he has all authority of all things that led up from all things from the beginning when he connected with Judas. Now, if you know your enemy and you cannot use your enemy as Shaquilla, though your enemies will kill you, and the end result will not be for your benefit. But if you know how to use your enemies for your benefit, no matter in life or death, and the end result, even with this, we will discover when it's all said and done that we cannot let the life of Shaquilla and the life of others go in vain because it's always going to be up to us. And it ain't going to be up to the Mexico establishment, the government. It's not going to be up to the US government. It's going to be up to us, the citizens, the people who love and who know and want justice for this woman and her life to not go in vain.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what to me what it boils down to, this is my opinion. Um, she was a good person, and she was trying to show her friends, try to show her friends something different to maybe inspire them to do something different. But sometimes, unfortunately, you got to walk through that door alone and get yourself right. What she was
Yeah,
doing, but she had a good heart and she was trying to bring them with her. But sometimes you got to go through it by yourself, and then of course come back and help and get save who you can save, but you can't save everybody.
yeah,
Unfortunately, she got caught in a situation where she was trying to save everybody, show them did something different, show them that hey, I'm doing this, maybe you can do it too. That's what it seems like. And but instead of them embracing her and be like, yeah, we can all do this together, you know, the jealousy and envy came into play, and unfortunately, this is the result.
gotcha. Man, anything y'all want to lead the people? Anything y'all want to say to the people? You know,
Yeah,
All
this
I
is what
want
I'm
to
going
say
to
is
go ahead,
go ahead,
Steve.
Yo,
go ahead,
So,
go ahead, Joe.
this is my biggest thing. My takeaway is this from this. This is me. You got unfortunately in this world and society we live in, we have to always be aware of who we're around and who we're dealing with. Uh, of course, people hide things. You know, but you have to be able to defend yourself at all times. That's my takeaway from it. If if she was able to, you can tell she couldn't defend herself because she wouldn't fight back. When you don't have the
yeah,
confidence to handle yourself, you're just gonna shell up because you're in a state of shock. Really, she probably was. She was. You can tell she was just like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" You have to be capable of defending yourself. Uh, Not saying that this situation is her fault, but my takeaway is you have to be able to defend yourself. You just can't sit there and just shell up. Most people think they're are able to take defend themselves, and you're not. Uh, Me being as I was like 260, and I thought, oh, I'm big, man. I can handle anybody. I'm 260, and I've been training for a while, about 6, 7 years now. And when I first got into that dojo, I got manhandled. I'm a 250
yeah,
pound guy. I was getting manhandled by somebody 160. You know, so my thing is to be prepared, man. Just whatever you need to do to protect yourself, have some kind of way of protecting yourself because you just never know. Like,
yeah,
unfortunately, it was her own friends that did her in.
yeah,
So my takeaway from it is to be prepared. Be able to defend yourself, and don't. You can't bring everybody with you. Sometimes you just got to
yeah.
walk that path alone.
All right, Steve, what you got?
Real quickly, I just want to say that anyone that wants more help to be proactive against violence, situations of this where you get set up and your life be lost, I want you to text CPIIA at 409-444-3524, and I'm going to help you and to better prepare you to defend yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually from harm, from injustice, from crimes.
Gotcha. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, man, don't sleep behind the wheel. Everybody ain't gonna be able to ride with you on the way to the top. Some people can't even get in the car. Some people you gonna have to drop off on the way to the top. Just leave them alone, man. That's your guy T Swin, Steve O, Joe. man, you can find us, man. Get in the description. You know, hit us up on our social medias, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, man. It's Men Can't Always Be Wrong podcast. And we out.
Peace.
Justice and peace.